Well, the federal government is arguing that the transcript shows Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull stood up for Australia's interests. Political reporter Matt Doran joins us now from Parliament House in Canberra. So, Matt, how are these details, these leaked details of the conversation been interpreted from the government's point of view?
Well, Andrew, the government is trying to paint this in a positive light, saying that regardless of how disappointing it is that these details have been leaked in the media, that it shows Malcolm Turnbull was trying to convince Donald Trump that this deal should be honoured, regardless of the opinion that Donald Trump held of the deal, saying that it was a dud and that his predecessor, Barack Obama, had done the wrong thing by the United States people by signing up to this agreement. But it has raised some questions about whether or not Mr. Turnbull has effectively turned this issue of resettling refugees and asylum seekers in the United States into merely a business transaction. He said in the transcript that he and Donald Trump come from similar backgrounds, both with business acumen behind them before coming into politics, and that they should look at this, and that Donald Trump should look at this as a deal that has been done and should honour the request and the agreement signed between the two governments before he came to office. We've heard from senior ministers such as Josh Frydenberg, the Energy and Environment Minister, and also Michael Keenan, the Justice Minister, saying that this reaffirms Australia's strict policies when it comes to the resettling of refugees and asylum seekers. And the Deputy Prime Minister, Barnaby Joyce, has said that he too believes Malcolm Turnbull was sticking up for Australia's interests, but he says it's disappointing that these details were leaked in the media.
I'm really dead against private conversations becoming in the public domain, and you're all the same. The way you're speaking to me now is one way, but if we were to go down to the pub and have a couple of beers, it's completely different. And if I was to say what you said to me down at the pub after a couple of beers and put it in the media, I imagine you'd be pretty bitterly disappointed with me.
Matt, the Prime Minister has faced some renewed criticism over the phone call, and also specifically some of the detail there, which essentially paints the Prime Minister as having said to the President that he's under no obligation to actually resettle these refugees.
That's right. The situation is that the federal government has always been very careful in not putting a figure on the number of refugees from Manus and Nauru that would be resettled in the United States, always maintaining that the United States would have the discretion there. We do know that in exchange for this deal, there was an agreement by Australia to resettle US refugees from a centre in Costa Rica in Central America. And in the transcript, it does, as you've pointed out there, Malcolm Turnbull does say to Donald Trump that he doesn't have to resettle any of them. He just has to vet these refugees and asylum seekers. The further questions go to, well, what other conditions on the deal were there from Australia? Malcolm Turnbull says the deal requires Australia to do a few different things, but doesn't actually specify what they are. And that's led the Greens really to come out and criticise Malcolm Turnbull today, saying that he was spruiking this deal to the Australian people as a way to clear out the Nauru and Manus Island detention centres, offshore processing centres, but the Green Senator Nick McKim says he's been caught out.
This goes straight to his character and his capacity to tell the truth as the Prime Minister of Australia. You can't go telling the Australian people one thing and then, because you think it's going to stay secret, tell the truth to the US President. Well, as my mother always said, the truth will out.
Green Senator Nick McKim speaking earlier in Hobart. Labor has also piled on and said that the coalition needs to release the details of this agreement with the United States so that everyone knows exactly what we've signed up for.
Matt, thanks very much. That's Matt Doran with the latest from Parliament House.